Hey, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Fantasy Fuck Round. It's your boy Tvshka. Hey, to Josh.
Woo!
What's up, bud? You feeling better this week?
We did it.
Yeah.
We made it to another year.
What
Don't
you do?
ask us how our fantasy teams did, but we did it. The other thing.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about your team screwing over the Lions. You're talking about something else. I apologize. Let's jump back a bit. Let's not get into that.
I didn't screw anything over. The refs blew that.
Ooh,
allegedly.
Yeah, not another terrible week for the refs, pretty much. But let's not talk about that. Let's talk about some good stuff, man.
Yeah.
How was your holidays? How was your Christmas? How was your New Year's? Do you remember New Year's at all?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I don't.
All right. Cheers. On that, but it was great. Good. Started to see family, and then came back to Nashville and didn't go downtown. If anyone wants to ask, no, I will not be 10 feet from that place. I'd rather go the other.
Nash Vegas there.
Yeah, it's insane for all those places downtown. They can have that. I'm staying in the south of Nashville downtown.
Yeah.
So
where the putrid smell of puke doesn't waft in your face.
Yeah, no, it does not.
Yeah.
So it was good stuff there. But no, it was all good. How about yourself?
Oh yeah, man. It was good. Yeah, I went to the parents, had everybody come in from out of town. Got surprised by both of my sisters showing up to one of my shows.
Nice.
Had a show before Christmas and then before New Year's, and it was cool. It was really cool to see them kind of show up, support, and love the hell out of it, the music too. A lot of naps though, last couple of days, bud. Gotta say.
Yeah, we've got to refuel because 2024 year, and it's probably going to kick our ass like every year that says, it's going to be better this year. And then guess what? It never happens.
Yeah. Got to refuel from tough year, good year though. I know we'll probably do a lot of year-end stuff maybe next week. Man, what about the year-end as far as the league? Did you expect that crazy of a championship game? And did you expect to not be in the playoffs along with me?
I didn't. I expected to be in the playoffs, after my draft, and then the league happened. So then they actually started playing, which who does that? And then the results went the ways that they did. But to be the best, for us to be the best of the worst, I guess I could take that. As a consolation.
Yeah.
And that, I mean, we stamped we were like FSU, like we should have been in the playoffs.
Right.
So basically on that, but just, don't ask FSU because they just didn't care to play in the Orange Bowl.
I mean, not a good look. If you want to prove to people that you belong somewhere, you should show up no matter how much you're protesting it. But hey, that's the transfer portal. That's a lot of other things that are messing that up. They need to end that. They need to push the transfer portal till after the bowl games, so that way we can actually get these things moving. But
they tried to do some things with the law on that, and the Supreme Court or whatever were just like, no, they can just transfer whenever.
Because I mean, love having the government involved in football organizations, but. Anyways, speaking of forgetting and moving along, are you ready to get to the top 10?
Yeah.
I hate this week's top 10. And
as far as injuries,
my bad.
My ego's injured. That's pretty much
my brain's broke too.
Yeah.
And my phone, by the way.
Yeah. There you see. So we're all done with injuries. The whole Miami Dolphins seemed to just break down against the Ravens.
Right.
So there's that. No real. I mean, Christian McCaffrey did a calf strain or something like that, so it hobbled him, which ended up working out for somebody that didn't have Christian McCaffrey that was in the championship game because of that. Because Christian McCaffrey is, as we will get here shortly as we transition into the top 10, that he was baller this whole season, and it just happened to be the championship game where he decided to have a flat tire, basically.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. I mean, the guy that gets you there. I know you got some pretty good stats to kind of bring up along the show, but to get you for him to drive you there and then basically just leave the car.
He ghost ride the whip and it crashed.
Ghost rode the whip into a ditch. No, and for our championship game, I mean, it was a nail biter. It went back and forth. The percentages changed and flip flopped and was even pretty close right there up until the end. I think it was like a 10-point difference, maybe. But yeah, we'll get to league scores in a bit. Anything else injury wise before we preemptively jump into the scores again?
No, I mean that's pretty much it. I mean, obviously, to go over injuries, it's the end of the year, so it's like it's just for if your favorite team has some big time injuries, and hope that everybody gets healthy for the playoffs for the actual teams themselves for your fans.
Playoffs.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So injuries don't fucking matter, guys. We're done. We don't care. We don't care about it.
Okay.
But what we can care about is we can actually look back at the top 10. Why don't you maybe with the music? Appreciate that, soul. Dude, CD Lamb going ham, living up to his name, TD Lamb, getting 40 points. And then this guy named Devontae Adams playing for the Raiders somehow getting up in there. Let me zoom in. Sorry, I zoomed out to kind of work on this spreadsheet. Looks like 38 points. Yeah. Lamar Jackson, glad of you to show up whenever I don't need you, bud. Where were you the rest of the season, pal?
MVP. MVP.
Hey, strong case for it. Him getting 36 points. And then I know as a Justin Fields owner, which I'll pull the receipts next week. I didn't get to the filing cabinet today, but DJ Moore, man, getting 31 points.
Yeah.
In incredible fashion too. That whole game was a highlight reel for those two. Kyron Williams getting 30 points for Super Bowl Sammy, as well as Lamb getting points for Super Bowl Sammy. So feels like that, that would be trending in some direction, but we'll get to the winners later on. Isaiah Pacheco, hey, welcome back, bud. Concussion protocol getting cleared, and he getting 30 points as well. For my non-existent bench, please. Jordan Love getting 28 points. Breece Hall, welcome back, bud. Welcome back to scoring. 28 points. Jalen Reed, which is on nobody's team, the waiver wire, getting 27 points. And James Conner, surprisingly, was on somebody's team in a championship match, getting 26 points.
Battle of birds.
Yeah, I felt like that was one of the big surprises of the week as far as kind of the points. If you watch the Cowboys game, a lot of that, came off with like basically two major plays.
The 92
yard to the house. Oh, dude, it's so good. But yeah, any other surprises in the top 10? Of course, this is top 10 overall. But who else do you think maybe you should get honorable mention just for showing up and putting in the work this week?
Chris Godwin played pretty well this week. The refs for the Dallas game, they showed up. So the owner of the Panthers, he was. I want to bring him up as a top 10 douchebag.
He definitely won the douche championship.
Yeah, he won that one. Going away, the Panthers win at something.
Yeah. So. Yeah. So for those that don't know, we were going to try to pull some video and everything of that nature. Just got behind the ball, but Panthers owner pouring a drink on the fans there. Just getting pissed off. Hopefully he gets heavily fined and penalized. And I know we've probably got some Carolina fans watching. Hopefully you guys get a new fucking owner soon, because this guy is not it. In the way he runs the business and the way he acts as a human being, get him the fuck out. But yeah. Any other surprises or upsets as far as like who didn't really show up this week?
I'm surprised that Zay Flowers isn't in the top 10.
Yeah,
he went 109 for 1, I think, or 113 or something like that. He had a pretty solid outing.
3 catches, 3 targets.
Right.
106 and a tutty. But yeah, he got 20 points. And if we would have broken down all of the positions, top 10, he probably would have been in there. We just do the overall. But Zay Flowers, phenomenal job. Puka getting 19 as well. Likely. He had 2 touchdowns.
Yep.
This is where it's like, okay. He's a tight end. I know it's the receiving yardage. So he only got 2 receptions for 42 yards and 2 touchdowns, but I feel like that should be worth more than 18 points. But that's just me. We can talk about the offseason. I know we got some other gripes about touchdowns and the scoring, the weights of the scoring there. But But yeah, and then you had quite a bit of defenses show up too, kind of throughout it. You had, I just had them up here, but I know like the Giants. I think the Raiders did pretty well themselves too. But yeah, man, it was a little bit higher scoring week maybe than the average week this year. Still down overall compared to last year.
Yeah.
As far as the league, and so that makes it more challenging. Sometimes more exciting, but I think for fantasy owners, it just pisses us all the hell off.
I mean, when typically the quarterbacks kind of own the top 10 as far as overall points. This year, there was the number one overall fantasy player was not a quarterback.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and speaking of quarterbacks, bud, let's go to the season top quarterbacks.
Yeah.
We got Josh Allen coming at 386, Josh Hurts 370, Lamar Jackson late to the party 338, Prescott 326, Love 312, Purdy 307, Mahomes, as bad of a year, still in the top 10.
Yeah.
294. Goff, I think probably one of the bigger surprises. Not that he's not a bad player, but just, I mean, how well they did getting 280. Mayfield, another big surprise, 278. And then Tua rounding out 275. Which, I mean, with the output that they put forth in the beginning of the season as far as the Dolphins, that he would be higher, but they just kind of seem to maybe sputter a little bit. Plus a lot of turnovers, which is why I'm really surprised Mahomes is kind of in the top 10 because he had 17, 18 turnovers on the season so far. Not good, but top 10 quarterbacks on the season, man. What did you like to see other than, maybe seeing more of your players in there?
I mean, obviously, you had like an on and off again relationship with Lamar Jackson and still ended up being a top 3 quarterback.
Yeah, it was like my high school girlfriend. Yeah.
Yeah. Freaking Green Bay Packers. They just can't keep getting away with it. Okay. They can't keep getting away with it. They went from a Hall of Famer to a Hall of Famer to a good quarterback. You just no. You don't. What's in the cheese? That's what I want to know. What's in the cheese?
Yeah,
because
apparently it's cheddar cheese with holes. I don't know if they know how cheese works, but it's yellow cheese with holes. That doesn't happen.
No. With Baker, it helps to have a future Hall of Fame wide receiver, Mike Evans, that has had 1,000 yards. I think his whole career, every year, something like that. It's a ridiculous stat of how many times he's gone over 1,000 yards. I think it's literally like of the 10 years he's played, maybe like 8 out of 10 or 9 out of 10. Something like that. It's been insane, and obviously Chris Godwin's pretty good too. So that's
Rashid White too out there on the flat. And I told you at the beginning of the season, I really am excited to see what Baker put out because I feel like he was finally in a healthy system. I mean, we can clearly see Carolina's not healthy.
No,
and then the Browns are looking good now, but that's also getting without Deshaun Watson, Mustashin. But even before that, like they just were toxic, bad ownership, bad management. So I was really happy for him as an OU grad, as a Boomer Sooner, to be able to get into a better or healthier spot and really show his worth. And I think he did it. I mean, I wasn't expecting him to be MVP at all, but seeing him in the top 10 for fantasy and just seeing how they're actually doing as a team overall, pretty good. I'm excited for him in that.
But no one wants to win the NFC South. No one does. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
They just keep, it was like, oh yeah, the Bucks should beat New Orleans. No, no, they don't want to. So no one wants to win that division.
Yeah. Atlanta, anybody? Atlanta, take this?
Yeah. Bueller.
Like the league is literally like, please take it. Somebody.
Yeah. Somebody take this spot for the love of God. But no, I mean, Dak Prescott, it was good to see him. This is what I expected too. I expected, I know I was contractually obligated to draft him, and I'm just not big on taking 2 quarterbacks in one draft just because you automatically lose a roster spot in there. But that's just how I view things. But
but you did get a Dolphins player, so I feel like you fulfilled that. Yeah.
He had a clipped wing. He didn't waddle as much this season. So
it was a pink one. Pink ones don't fly anyways. So.
No, I mean, he didn't swim very well. What do you want to say?
He was just swimming in one circle.
Yeah. He was happy feet.
It's a good movie.
Yeah.
But speaking of draft, right? So, I mean, with your quarterbacks that you got, I mean, like I said, you drafted the one next year. I mean, who are you looking at?
Joe Flacco. No.
I mean, he may not be a bad option. I mean, depends on where he goes.
He's gonna have a stat line like
Yeah.
Jameis Winston had that one year where he had like 60 touchdowns and 60 interceptions. But he's got a beautiful spiral on that. Now I'm interested to see what happens with Caleb Williams out of the draft as far as the rookie quarterbacks. This is a pretty deep class with Penix. Possibly he can be an interesting one. He's kind of reminds me of a Jalen Hurts coming out with that.
Yeah.
Who knows with Bryce Young on that with the Panthers? I mean, the Panthers are incompetent from the top down, as we've seen.
Yep.
So who knows with that? Obviously, C.J. Stroud, he's probably going to be one of the top picks going into next year, just based on how he's playing. But you won't see much of the top 4 quarterbacks change from what happened this year. It's still going to be Mahomes, Hurts, Lamar, and
Allen.
Jackson. Yes, thank you. Yeah, Allen Jackson.
But I mean, are you putting? I mean, who are you going to bump up into that echelon though? Would you put Goff in that?
No, because he might lose his offensive coordinator this year. At the end of it, he might go to a head coaching job. So, I mean, he still has the receivers to do it, and it'll be fine. But when you lose a coordinator, I mean, just look at the Eagles. Right. They lost
but also look at Jalen Hurts, number 2 with 370 points on the year.
Right, but he does tush push, so he's a tush push king. So that's DeAndre Swift,
rushing TD extraordinaire.
Right. I mean, he literally has 15 rushing touchdowns on the year, which is more than a lot of.
Goff can do that.
Really? Sure about that?
No, because Goff can't squat like 800 pounds.
Yeah. One day, Trevor Lawrence is going to put it all together, and it's going to be fun when that happens. Just hasn't happened yet.
The prince that was never promised. We're going to stick with that.
Yeah, pretty much. Fields, it's going to be interesting to see where he lands.
Yeah. I mean, judging from the crowd there at the stadium at Soldier Field, they want Fields. They chanted his name the whole end of the game as they were kind of getting off the field themselves, and hopefully ownership looks at that and says, hey, I mean, we got something here. Let's spend that top draft pick instead of spinning our wheels with quarterbacks. Let's get a line. Let's get skill sets. Let's get other positions filled out to give this guy as good of a shot and give the team as good of a shot as they can.
Yeah.
But we'll see. Bad management, bad ownership. Not saying that they do have that, but, whenever you do have bad management or ownership, it doesn't matter like how great of a plan. They're going to fuck it up somehow.
Yep. Pretty much.
All right, man. I think we fucked that up. Let's go on to running backs.
Yeah.
Yeah, your season top running backs, Christian McCaffrey. So what a surprise. Who would have thought? But 391 points, man.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll probably do some research over the next week for a wrap-up show. But I wonder, what's the most fantasy points on the year. I mean, of course, ours is a little bit different. I mean, each fantasy league has their different skill sets, their, the weighted points, all that. But, man, that's up there. That's got to be up there. But you also got Travis Etienne getting 269. Most start, 268. Breece Hall. I mean, as bad of a year as the Jets had, getting 262. Probably one of the waiver pickups of the year. Kyron Williams getting 255. Your boy Rashid White getting 255 down there in Tampa Bay. Old ass Mixon from Oklahoma still getting it done, 242. Gibbs, 233. Kamara, welcome back, 233. And Derrick Henry,
still got
in the top 10. Still in the top 10. Like, I feel like with a lot of this, it's feast and famine. Because, I mean, other than McCaffrey, ETN, Mostart, maybe even Holland Williams, but the rest of it kind of felt like it was a feast and famine. You'd have some really subpar games and then these big explosive games. Is that the norm, or is that just something that, is kind of rare to this year?
I think it's rare. I mean, typically the running backs, when you get enough carries, then it's going to result in, that's why the quarterbacks, the person that has the ball in their hand every single snap, at least on offense. And statistically, the running backs get the ball the second most, and then you have receivers and so forth on there. So it's just, and plus a lot of times now it's a split backfield The running back room
Mhm.
isn't just one dude.
Yep.
Atlanta. He did it again. He
Miami,
did it again
Miami
this week.
well,
What?
dude, Miami, Detroit.
Yeah.
I mean, like you said, I mean, like
Yeah.
split back league. And I mean, I just hope that for the players, that means longevity in their careers.
Yeah.
Even though that does mean probably less touches, less opportunity, which may equate less money. But it is kind of scary to kind of look at some of the statistics and kind of see how short some of their lifespan is as far as a professional athlete. And it just seems like that with teams and as plethora of talent coming out, each year from college, it may seem like that may get shorter, but we'll see. We'll see though. Anybody that is not on that list that you feel like maybe deserves an honorable mention?
Achane.
Achane, yeah.
Devon
Yeah,
Achane.
speaking of school backs,
If he when he got hurt, he was like in top 5, and it was the people that were below him. Bijan Robinson not being on the list is not Bijan Robinson's fault. It all has to do with Arthur Smith. Yes, I don't care. He did it again this week. Bijan had like I don't know how many carries for 64 yards, and guess what? Tyler Algier had the touchdown. Like,
dude, he had a hell of a run, man. That was some good yak right there.
Yeah. So
yak.
But no, it's a poor management on my part as far as not putting Rashad White in the starting lineup until it's pretty much too late, kind of writing on the wall there for the playoffs. But it's still the way it shook out. You weren't beating Christian McCaffrey and Kyron Williams when they're healthy. It just you weren't doing that. Yeah. So Alvin Kamara, even though with the 4-game suspension, didn't matter. He's still good at football. So the biggest one is Devon Achane. If he wouldn't have gotten injured, how many ungodly numbers? And then, hey, look, Jahmyr Gibbs. Mm-hmm. There's a reason you did that. So
rookie.
And they traded up for him, and like the whole time they're like, why aren't they were doing like the Arthur Smith thing with Dan Campbell? And he was like, why aren't you doing this? And then finally, when Montgomery got hurt, they had to give him the ball, and he did his thing.
Yeah,
that's the rest of the year. So yes, Jahmyr Gibbs. I'm not saying he's on one of my tops for going into next year. Again, it just depends on the offensive coordinator and if he's going to stay with the team going into next year, because I don't think he will be. I think he will be a head coach at some team next year.
Yeah. And that's unfortunate for Lion fans. I mean, just like with Eagle fans, if they didn't lose their DCOC, in the same year, they may be in a better position, maybe a little more structured. And as a Chiefs fan, I mean, I know Reed gets a lot of credit for it, but us losing the enemy as an OC, I really think does have a little bit of an effect on the discipline, because you see how pissed off those players were because he was such an asshole to them. But he'll get that work out of you. Couple for the running backs, couple that kind of come to my mind. Of course, Pacheco. I think it's in there like 13, 14, just outside the top 10. Good showing. I think next year he'll be a better prospect for sure. Because I think they're going to kind of shift it a little bit as far as the DNA of the team to where it's going to be defense and kind of run heavy, and then just kind of pepper in some of the wide receiver work. But really, to me, James Cook out of Buffalo came in late.
On to the ball.
Yeah.
If he can hold on to the ball.
Right. But coming in late in the game, they got rid of their OC, right? Talking about OCs, got rid of their OC, and that proved his mettle there, because then, I mean, I'm sorry, but they ran all over the Cowboys. In insane fashion, but he did the same thing the week before to the Chiefs. He just he has a knack for finding the holes, either with the actual run itself or just little dump passes. But I mean, he definitely kind of stood out to me a little bit this year, especially at the end, and we'll see if that carries over into next year.
And then as far as the other opposite end of who we come into the season always expecting, I think this is it for Arboria with the Chargers. I don't think he's in the top 10 anymore. For that.
Well, he definitely wasn't even in the top 20.
I mean, he started off the season, but then he got hurt, and he just never was 100%. And they lost the locker room, and then that's all she wrote for that. And I just don't see. I mean, he might pull a Toby Keith and be as good as he once was, like a couple of games next year, but I just don't see it. Him showing back up. I think like the Jahmyr Gibbs and I would say Bijan Robinson, but his coach is incompetent. and Joe Mixon, he's always flirts around with like the 8 to 12 spot. He does that every year. Having a healthy Joe Burrow next season, who knows what could happen for him? But he's still a solid back, and I don't see him losing a gear in the offseason or anything like that. So, and then Kenneth Walker, we'll see what happens with him.
Yeah.
Because he's kind of feast or famine this year. But
yeah. Last year he was the darling, kind of the Cinderella story. This year a little bit lighter. But Seattle itself had a pretty rough year. I mean, Geno Smith last year was one of the big surprises, and looks like they may miss it out this year, but we'll see. But speaking of missing something, when we're not talking about the Chiefs wide receivers dropping balls, we're talking about CeeDee Lamb, baby, not skipping a beat. Good Lord, 368 points. Not too far behind McCaffrey for a top 10 overall. And they're right behind him, Tyreek Hill, which slowed down at the end of the year. Start off freaking hot as hell. Amon-Ra St. Brown getting 304. Another A. Brown, Antonio Brown, AJ Brown getting 290. Antonio's long gone. That guy has been in some videos.
So is he mentally. So
and so was his team in the league. But anyways, Puka Nacua, definitely offensive rookie of the year, right? That's got to be hands down. 284 points.
Him or CJ Stroud.
Yeah, right. And it's hard to go against quarterbacks in that kind of deal. But I think for ours, I mean, he started off super hot and kind of stayed there. But but then your boy Keenan Allen getting 279. Mike Evans, like we kind of talked about and kind of gleamed on 277. DJ Moore, who had the stellar week, also had a very good year, 276. This pisses me off. Diggs does not belong in the top 10. I'm just saying. Okay.
Did you recount that? Did you double check it? Because that doesn't right.
Seriously. His was definitely a severe feast and famine. And whenever he was on, it was like 30 points, but for the most part, it was under 10 points and sometimes goose eggs. So we'll break that down maybe next week, so we can kind of keep this moving. But then Jamar Chase, 257. Talk a lot of shit, but you don't show up in the game. I don't know what that is, bud. But what do you think about wide receivers?
I mean, this is what we were expecting CeeDee Lamb to do. He was right there. I mean, he finished the top 5 last year, finished number 1 overall this year. Now, the back half of the season was crazy. I mean, he literally went off for like 270, something crazy, like 270 or something this past week against the Lions. Now, obviously, a couple of them were long bombs, but still, like they just feed him, and they put him in good positions to succeed, and he's catching the ball a lot more. He has some droppies last year, had the drops, but this is Amon-Ra St. Brown. This is the Amon-Ra St. Brown we were expecting. He hasn't been healthy, forever on that, and really and truly, I still can't believe Diggs in the top 10. I just because of the
right
it doesn't make sense on that. But no, there was a player that I was thinking, and then it left me.
Well, I mean, while you're thinking of it, CeeDee Lamb, to correct you, 227 is what he had yardage-wise this week. And only 1 touchdown, which was the big one. But, 13 receptions off 17 targets. Not too shabby.
No. Shout out Cooper Kupp. He was fun at one point.
Yeah, not top 10, injured for a good portion of the year. But I mean, maybe he kind of showed up, but then also with the injured Stafford for a little bit, it was up and down, but they're definitely looking a lot better as a whole team right now going into the playoffs. But I mean, this boy was not injured, but he was pissing all over everybody. Laporta Potty. Freaking Lord. Another breakout, as far as on the year, a rookie himself, getting 225 on the year. And even though Kelsey has not had a great season, still hasn't even hit 1,000 yards, still pretty low on touchdowns as far as 5. He's still second place, 219 points. It's just that he's just that much of a powerhouse. So even on a bad year, he's still a pretty good pickup, ladies and gentlemen. Hawkinson, 219. Ingram coming to 206. Kittle, 203. And Njoku, 201. But a lot of that was late in the year. I got to tell you, because as I flirted with Njoku for a good half of the season, A lot of that was late in the year. And who knows? I mean, if Flacco stays, I think Njoku is definitely – I mean, Njoku no matter what's going to be a good draft or a good pickup. But if Flacco stays and they have that chemistry, that may be pretty good. But it's going to be hard to keep him whenever you have that much money tied up with Deshaun Watson for some bad management and ownership reason. Cole Kmet, man. Yeah, another good one. Good surprise there. 174. McBride, right? Down there out of Arizona, 169. And that was even with half a season without Kyler Murray. Ferguson, 164. And Schultz, another Cowboy alum, coming in there, 141, man. Tight ends, real quick. What you got?
David Njoku, yeah, his last half of the season was kind of like what CeeDee Lamb was. It's kind of crazy on how consistent David Njoku was. Ever since his crazy burn situation accident that happened, which was nuts, and the fact that he was able to still just be a beast like he is. I mean, he looks like a specimen as it is. Yeah. But freaking Iowa just craps out awesome tight ends, and it's nuts.
They breed them. They actually grow them. It's like they have corn, and then in the next field they have tight ends. That's what they grow. Yeah, they're genetic motherfuckers.
Yeah. And then Cole Kmet was pretty solid. McBride's kind of what we talked about the whole time. Just look at his targets. I mean, the dude got targeted a lot for the little that he played.
100 targets.
Yeah,
on the year.
So, which is pretty crazy for that. I mean, obviously, Mark Andrews, Darren Waller's of the world, they just were never healthy, which stinks. If Ivy would have played likely Isaiah Likely would have played the whole season, he might have been. Definitely cracked his top 10 here. None of the Dalton Kincaid or Dawson Knox cracked the top 10, but that's kind of the build.
Yeah. Knox getting injured mid-season, kind of hurt. Kincaid showed up, but then it was only getting the work because Knox was out. Those bring up interesting situations, though, right? So jumping back to. Oh my God, my brain just dropped.
It happens.
But anyways, stick with Kincaid and Knox because that's in the forefront. Is that going to cause any issues next year? Just the same with the Ravens, likely, right? Along with their other tight end that is escaping right now, OU grad.
They'll probably, unless they can get something for Dawson Knox, which they might. It just something like that. I still see them sticking with both of them at this point. You typically have two tight ends anyway, and none of them are good enough to. I don't think they're. He might get traded, Dawson Knox, because obviously Kincaid is the rookie that they just drafted. And they traded up over the Cowboys because that's who the Cowboys wanted, and they still traded up and got him right before the Cowboys pick this year. So. I don't see that being an issue, but it also wouldn't surprise me if, Knox was traded for like a 6th-round pick or something like that. Depending on if it happens, it's going to be at the draft. That might happen.
What about Andrews and Likely there at the Ravens camp?
I don't see
Andrews, 28 years old. I mean, still younger, but getting close to 30.
Thankfully, the diagnosis wasn't as bad as they thought, because it's one of those that could be a career ender. But they actually said that it wasn't, so it's not as bad as they initially thought. So and Mark Andrews, that's still Lamar's number one target. So you're not. Lamar understands it's a business, but you want to keep your boys happy. So and that's his number one dude. So I don't see them trading off Isaiah Likely, but. What do I know?
Right. You're just some guy on just some schmuck on a YouTube show.
Yeah, just some schmuck.
Speaking of schmucks, let's go to defense, man. And I left the periods in, but Baltimore Ravens 176. Nobody had them on their team, and they're the number one defense on the season. Is it just because of the last 3 or 4 games? Probably, but yeah, them coming at 176. The Cowboys, who started off hot at the beginning of the year, unfortunately had the injury to Diggs. But the rookie stepped up and showed out. But they got 175 on the year. Cleveland Browns 164. Garrett Wilson getting it done. Honestly, if he had kept on that streak that he had kind of midseason, it would have been great to have a defensive player get MVP. Buffalo Bills though 160. Miami Dolphins, as bad as their defense is, they do get turnovers. They do get points, 155. New York Jets as well, since they were, promised to be great. They actually are really good defense, but it's hard to have a good defense with such a terrible offense. That's the Kansas City Chiefs. New York Jets 152. Indianapolis Colts, right? A little bit of surprise there, 151. As well as the Raiders 151. What you got? And I'll be right back.
Yeah. No, Indianapolis Colts, as far as that's concerned, they have just played the right teams for them to do decently. Plus, I believe the Colts. No, the Colts got the offensive coordinator from Philadelphia. So no, I was thinking the other way around. So no, it's not it. But the Raiders, it's basically the last half of the season. I mean, Max Crosby, he's going to get sacks, so you're going to have that going for you. The Cowboys, Ravens, Browns, Bills, Jets, we were expecting them. And then Vic Fangio for the Miami Dolphins. He is a really good D coordinator. So that doesn't surprise me that the Miami Dolphins are up there as well. Pittsburgh is always there because Tomlin on that. So, there's a couple of obviously the Denver Broncos going into the season, you thought they'd be better. They gave up 70 points to the Dolphins that one game. So that happened there. And you expect with the division that the Saints would be there, but they weren't. So that was interesting there. Pretty much the NFC South is just non-existent.
Defense-wise, definitely.
Yeah. So, which was kind of crazy because they're always like real low-scoring games as it is, but yet they just didn't show up on there. So, but pick sixes, man. I mean, the Dallas Cowboys, their guy who replaced Diggs set the record for the most pick sixes in a season. So,
they're just phenomenal. I can't imagine your defensive group whenever Diggs gets back. I'm not sure what your cap hit looks like for all of that, but
it's more of a Dan Quinn situation, whether or not he's going to take another head coaching gig. Basically, yeah.
Yeah. Well, there may be a few already open. Yeah. Depending on what Chargers or Raiders or Patriots or Belichick or anybody coming out of college, who knows what's going to happen. But that's something for next year. Onto a top. Oh yeah, what you got?
Real quick, it reminded me. The Indianapolis Colts reminded me. Anthony Richardson next year should be really good.
Ooh,
if it depends on how that shoulder heals, but but Anthony Richardson should be pretty solid next year.
Yeah, no, that's definitely a good one. We'll dive into some of those injuries a lot more next show for sure. For this one, let's wrap it up because kickers, who gives a fuck? Nobody cares about kickers. You got Aubrey 168, Tucker 150, Elliott 149, Bucker 144, and 6 of them were yesterday. Jacoby Myers 144, Hopkins 144, Santos 142, Sanders 139, Gay 138, and Dicker 134. We're not going to make any jokes about their names because it's going to take too long. But yeah, no, man. I mean, kickers. I mean, they are who we thought they were. Right.
Yeah. Some leagues don't have kickers anymore, but they're people too. Shout out to wide receiver Jacoby Myers for setting the records there in the top 10 kickers.
I love it.
On that. But no, freaking Jason Sanders outscored Christian McCaffrey last week. That's just ridiculous. Okay, when a kicker outscores the captain, it's just that there's something wrong with the world. No, but Brandon Aubrey, the dude's legit. Like, I think
from experience, fan.
Yeah, the dude's legit. I mean, he really is. He's like pretty much automatic from like 50. I think he's like he never missed a 50-yarder or anything because he hit a 60-yarder at one point during the season. So dudes, I think he didn't miss a kick that he actually took from over 50 yards, which on the season, which is pretty crazy. Typically, that's the GOAT Justin Tucker, which kind of crazy. Justin Tucker's still in the top 10. He's a top 2 kicker overall. What the crap?
Yeah. Still his best fucking weekend. He was not on a team.
Yeah, just the same thing with kickers. Not to really put too much time into it, but if they're in the dome, it's going to work out for you. So,
interesting interview actually with Butker. They interviewed him post game after he tied a record for most field goals, I think, by a Chiefs kicker, but 6 is what his total was. But he was saying everybody's a little bit different, of course. But, with the stadium, there at Arrowhead, he actually likes a little bit of wind to his back, but he likes a left to right wind. Pretty good interview. I mean, I feel like a lot more players are being more open and vulnerable and kind of giving out their tactics. Not sure exactly, why that is. Maybe just more coverage and content, or they're just at that level where it's like, dude, we can give you whatever you want. It's not going to affect how we play the game.
Right.
We saw that with, the Netflix quarterback show, Hard Knocks as well. So, but anyways, pretty good interview. Go check it out. Harrison Bucker. Good on you. And I know I'd like to just say Jacoby Myers, but I'll put spec on your name, Jason Myers from Seattle. You're probably the best player.
Jacoby had a pretty solid year, though.
Oh, Jacoby did. He really did.
Jacoby did have a pretty solid year for being the number 2 on a bad Raiders team.
Yeah. I think he had a good move from the New England. I think that's it, man. But we've got a little something coming up, dude. And I'm not sure exactly how to preface this or bring it up. You know what I mean? It is the wild card, and it is the end of the year.
Yeah.
We have we may save the worst for last, and I don't know which one's the worst.
One's unsufferable.
What is unsufferable? Even though he was the one I said that wasn't.
Yeah.
But ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and bring on first, and I'll pick him. Let's bring on the earlier champions of a previous league, because this is the first year of the league, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, all the other ones don't fucking matter.
Yeah, they do.
But, no, they don't. No, they don't. But we will still credit you towards that. Previous winner, Jason. Hey, get in here, bud. How you doing, brother?
What's up, guys? How you doing? And yes, they do too. And I agree with Josh Tvshka. They do count.
Yeah,
they count only for you.
They would have counted if you had your name on the plaque.
Yeah. Sorry. Did you guys get a trophy? And are your stat points
in my head
points already set right now? No. We
in
just
my
started
head
this year.
in my head, there is a trophy. Yeah. In my head, there's a trophy. So
yeah. No, it did count. I mean, for you again. I mean,
a guy died so we could win last year.
I'm sorry. Jesus. Are you talking about Jesus?
Mar Hamlin came back.
He died that was
the reason.
That was the reason why Josh beat me.
Yeah.
So no, we beat you. Okay, I'm actually obligated. I have to say we.
Yeah, no,
that's the reason. That's the reason why they beat me was because the fact is that Damar Hamlin died. So
well, yeah, that was a very awkward situation. And glad he kind of made it out of everything. But yeah, that was really weird. I mean, just how do you handle that? Hopefully, that never happens again. So we never have to figure that out. But at the same time, man, you got to play the way the chips fall. Because I also had Derrick Henry throw touchdowns that didn't get fucking counted for. Okay, so I don't want to hear it.
Josh, Tvshka, I completely agree. I think the fact is that when there are laterals or there are running backs that a ball Kelsey should have if that lateral would have counted, Kelsey should have gotten points for the lateral. I feel like they need to make exceptions for that kind of stuff, but it is what it is.
Yeah, and it's messy. I mean, of course, we're talking about a fantasy league that ultimately really doesn't matter, but you're also talking about a plethora of different types of leagues, settings, all that nature. So, how was your experience with the Sleeper app compared to other fantasy products that you've seen?
I think it's the better one I've seen. I think it's better than the ESPN app overall. I didn't like I felt bad for you guys because you guys really didn't have nothing to play for after for the last 2 weeks.
That's right. I mean, we played for 7th and 8th place.
Yeah, but I think you could have done but I think you could have still count. They should have still at least had the point totals. That was a little disappointing because especially with Lamar going off this week, that's got to be disappointing for you.
It was,
and it was just for me, DJ Moore going off this week, but he couldn't go off last week. What the hell?
Yeah. When it counted.
Yeah. Right.
Well, and now correct me if I'm wrong. I do believe last year or maybe the previous year, but with ESPN, were the matches 2 weeks combined?
Yes.
Right? Okay.
Yes. Because we went all the way to week 18 with ESPN and Sleeper, we stopped at 17.
Yeah. So. And which I don't like anything being put in 18.
No. Because everybody's
100% benching. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. I mean, it was even like look at next week. Like if we were playing next week, McCaffrey's not playing. Like half the teams are like, there's a chance that like Lamar's not playing. Like half the teams aren't even going to play for
Yeah, I'd
because
be
they're playing.
surprised if Pacheco, Mahomes. I mean, they may play like a quarter or two, but I mean, ultimately, it doesn't really matter. We got the 3 seed lock, and and then there's a lot of other teams like that too. But yeah. So I mean, definitely let us know the end of year review or
Yeah.
questionnaire that we'll send you all.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can definitely fill that out. No. But yeah. Let us know. I mean, things that we can kind of change, and we're also going to be researching a lot. So sleeper, if there's ways that you can allow us to have a little more access and control on some of that point totaling, that'd be great. But yeah, I like sleeper as an app. Josh, you got any questions or anything for one of the former champs, just as yourself?
I mean, are the New York Jets your best friend ever since week 1?
I mean, honestly, the fact is, I picked them and I kept them with the defense because, and I'll go like I can literally go through my whole team, but like I think like the fact is that my team was all about consistency. I wanted players on my team that would. I don't need players to score like 15, 20 points a game. I needed them to just be consistent week to week, and for the most part, every single player on my team, did good. Like I disagree with Jordan Love being in the top 10 because Jordan Love was like you guys said, feast and famine. He was like one week he'd be great and the next week he'd be trash. So it was just like because he was on my team for a while as my quarterback when because I drafted Burrow, and like then the fact is that like Burrow gets hurt and so I had to pivot, and so I got Love, and then Prescott fell in my lap, so like yay for me, but like
Yeah.
but it was but again, like Prescott was, you're a Cowboys fan, Josh, Prescott was like up and down like the first half of the year. Like he would be really, really good, and then the next week he'd be trash. So it would be like it was like because there were times that people were like calling for him to be benched. I mean, so it was like, what are you gonna do?
The last half of the season, Prescott and CeeDee Lamb have been on fire.
Brother.
Yeah.
They're insane.
So
Yeah.
Aubrey is like Aubrey and the Jets were and Kelsey. I rode or died Kelsey the entire season because I refused.
That's a rough ride too.
Yeah,
I
wasn't
mean,
gonna
compared to what he has done in the past as far as output. But
there's a Taylor Swift song that I could reference, but I just don't know him. So
honestly,
you
the
can
fact
do it.
is,
No
there's
one's watching.
people that are blaming Taylor for this, and I'm just like, whatever. It's not Taylor. It's the fact is that like the problem is like, and Tvshka's a Chiefs fan. He knows like when Kelsey's your number one, so every single defense is gonna gun for Kelsey 90% of the time. Look at the touchdown catch from Pacheco this past week.
Mhm.
Like Kelsey's blanketed, like
Yeah.
and which leaves Pacheco wide open. So it's like he's a good. Sometimes he's better as a decoy than he is as a actually, catch the
Well,
ball.
he had to play the decoy this year because there was no other receivers that
Right.
were really like garnering that attention. And so it's going to be interesting to kind of see what Brett Veach, the GM, it's going to be interesting to see what he does here with the draft. Because not to put on Chris Jones. Chris Jones, get your money, bud. You deserve it. You're a fucking boss hog. But him kind of holding out, I think, really messed with a lot of the capital that they were going to maybe use for trades. And it is what it is. We had one of the top defenses. Defense was championships. We'll see. But I think that kind of affected a little bit of their plans because there's a lot of fans really kind of calling for Veach's job just because of the whole wide receiver situation. But it's going to be interesting to see what we do. Really hope that we do something big trade wise or draft wise.
I would say trade because I feel like the
I'm
draft.
with you. I don't want to trust a rookie.
Yeah, right.
Like we've got a young one. We need some veterans. Higgins.
I really wish you guys would have kept
been on the
Juju.
board.
I really wish you guys would have kept Juju. I think if you guys would have kept Juju, you guys would have been and you would have been in a better situation yourselves.
And he would have too.
And he would have been too because he went to New England and New England didn't know how to use him. So it's like and
same with
like,
McCole. The Jets didn't know how to use him.
Guys,
and they're like,
you don't need Juju.
We'll
You've got
give him back.
Kadarius. I'm sorry, I can't get that out. Kadarius Toney. That hurt.
Yeah.
But
Kadarius Toney is Pacheco. Okay, in that they just fucking run so hard that they hurt themselves. And Toney is he's a little bit more frail than Pacheco. That's his issue. Like he just doesn't have like a cruise control button it's all or nothing, and he's
Yeah.
literally breaking his own fucking ankles.
Yeah.
And it's just like, dude, just calm down. Like, learn when to kick that drive in. You don't need to start off with that drive, because for both of them, I just don't know what their longevity is going to look like as a NFL player. But
Yeah, but as an NFL fan, I will have to say this: like my
no,
Cinderella team this year, honestly, the Lions have been just fabulous.
okay,
I'm honestly like, I don't. If you're an NFL fan, I don't know how you're not rooting for the Lions going into this year, because the fact going into the playoffs, because the fact is, it's like it's the Lions, man. Like
Mhm.
Goff is like, where the hell did Goff come from? Like
California.
yeah, LA.
All right, but look at Goff. But Goff has been like,
Yeah.
like he got traded from the Rams to
Mhm.
fucking Detroit for Stafford, and then the fact is the Rams are like, nah, Goff sucks. We're never gonna win with him. We need Stafford. And then the Rams win the Super Bowl, and then Goff is now, look at Goff. He's the Alex Jones,
Top 10 on the year.
right? And he's been fabulous, because the fact is they have a running game, they have Laporta, and they have weapons they have
Man,
Amon-Ra St. Brown, and like and the weapons they
Gibbs,
have, and then their
Montgomery.
defense has been decent. So it's been like it's a really good story to look at, and I can't talk
Yeah.
about my Panthers because it'll make me fucking lose my
Yeah,
mind.
we won't mention it, man.
Yeah,
but Dan Campbell, though.
Yeah.
I mean, how could you not just kind of root for that guy? I mean, he's like the drunk uncle at the holiday party.
He's Lebowski.
He's Lebowski. He's going to say whatever he wants, man. The Judah bides, man. But it's just like he's fucking always on. And it's just like, to me, it's kind of like Vrabel. It's like, how can you not like him as a coach? I mean, he
Right.
was a former player. He was in it. And just kind of the attitude that they kind of bring with it. It's like a no nonsense, no bullshit kind of thing. And we're going to tell you how it is. And then it's funny because then you got the other spectrum with McDaniel there in Miami, who's just like, yeah, man, I'm just like this, stoner kid, whatever, man. But yeah, it's like, dude, like I just love the parody in the league and just kind of the diversity that it's got in it.
I love
we're talking about two white guys and we're saying diversity, but what is?
I mean, but then again, you look at the Jets and the dumpster fire that the Jets have been. But you look at the same time, where the fact is they had so much promise at the beginning of the year with having Rodgers, and then like
That's true.
That's true.
Good call.
But the fact
he looks all white.
Yeah. He's the lighter shade. So it's one of those where like, you look at the Jets and you feel bad for the Jets, but they've been like, but they had this glimpse of hope with Rodgers, and then their line's been so trash that Rodgers tears his Achilles. And then shout out to Breece Hall for being able to, even though that line's trash, he was able to be a top 10 fantasy running back. Like, shout out to him. But
last week he went for like 40 last week.
Yeah.
So against the Commanders, and then I was like watching the game. I'm like, all right, here's where Christian McCaffrey goes off, and then he hurt his calf.
Yep. I mean, but honestly, the fact is like, I know Daniel's going to be happy as hell because if like McCaffrey gets hurt and then it seals his win, because I was just, he's going to be like, that's got to be the reason why like he did it, because CD comes up,
Kyron Williams.
Thank you. Kyron Williams shows up.
Yeah.
Like most of his team shows up, and and unfortunately, Roca got hit with the injury bug right at the very end.
Well, let's hold on that. Let's talk about you, bud.
So
what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna look at the champions bracket so far. So I mean, you had the bye, well deserved bye, by the way. But unfortunately, Team Saquon Barkinsdale the third. Just kind of worked you guys over, like you kind of talked about, a little bit of a bad week for you. Definitely subpar from your average scoring. But kind of with the rest of the bracket, you had Super Bowl Sammy moving over to Olave Garden, which put on a great season. And unfortunately, it was one of those weeks. Didn't get it done. So that kind of put them in the championship. But you are officially our third place winner, brother. So how does it feel to beat your nephew?
I mean, honestly, it felt really good because did
you rub it in his face in Christmas? Like,
I have not. I did not. I'm not going to, because I feel bad for him because he didn't start Jerome Ford, and I know he's got to be kicking himself in the ass a little bit for not starting Ford for the third week in a row. But like it's one of those things where like, but Haga and I were talking throughout the whole week, and I told him, I was like, as it was going on, because we had a hell of a matchup. That matchup between our game was really outstanding. It literally went back and forth as the night was going on. Like I was up, and then he would come back, and then he would come back. He would go up, and then I would come back. But the injury bug for me was DJ Moore getting like 2 points that week. It hurt me bad because his team just did enough, and he had Ayuk, and Ayuk like balled out. And then,
man,
it was just one of those.
Yeah, even though it was a rough game for Purdy, I believe, on that week. Ayuk did very well. And unfortunately, I was against you. Josh, any final questions for Jason on this segment? Stick around, Jason. We're going to bring another guest on. We'll bring you back up at the end, brother.
Yeah, no worries, man.
Any roster spots that roster moves or anything that you tilted on or anything like that that you were just like, oh, I should have, woulda, coulda, shouldas, or you left it all on the field? Maybe
trades that you didn't make with me.
The one Daniel and I were talking about this last week, and like it's the Travis Etienne,
right?
The trade it works, but it doesn't work. I mean, Jonathan Taylor being like, that's to me, I feel like Jonathan Taylor should have been a top 10 running back. And he's probably like just outside the top 10. But it's just like, because that Travis Etienne trade, even though again, Etienne was doing, but I expected him to get hurt and he didn't. And then, and he got a lot of work, and a lot of his points came last week, but again, like that would be the only one where, like, should I have held on that trade and just not traded him and seen where that would have gone? But
yeah. And what were the details of the trade? So you traded away Etienne, correct?
I traded Etienne for Jonathan Taylor.
For Taylor, yeah.
It was a 1-to-1. Just because I thought Etienne wasn't gonna. I knew Taylor was gonna come back like after week 3. I figured I could be fine after a few weeks, and then but I figured Etienne was gonna get hurt, and he'd be like Taylor overall would have been a better choice. And
Taylor in 2022 being definitely one of the premier backs. I can't remember who I traded McCaffrey to you in that year. But McCaffrey turned out to be
Lamar Jackson.
It was Lamar Jackson. Fucking Lamar!
I love him.
That's right. No, Lamar's great. It's just, oh my God, me and him just are not on the same wavelength.
He just important right now going forward is the D&D for Tvshka when it comes to.
He's one of those quarterbacks where the fact is like you can love him one week and hate him the next because it's just because the fact is like he's feast or famine. One week he'll be fucking fantastic, and the next week he's going to be a dumpster fire, and then he runs too much.
He was pretty good for the whole year. I mean, obviously number 2 on the year, but it maybe just be a late bloomer, and I wonder with the rest of the league if that's kind of what they do, a little slow playing in the first half, and then okay, cool, let's turn the Jets on this last half when that counts. Win enough games to really kind of hold that division, and then they kind of kick it in. Right before the playoff run. But
do you guys think we need to add one bench slot to our team? Because I think if you would have added like one bench slot, like I feel like some of the players might have stayed where they were, and people would not have, especially on apocalypse weeks when people were like dumping, like especially near the end, if you had hit it by apocalypse, right when you're like battling for that last playoff spot.
That way you don't feel like you have to drop somebody of worth. Yeah, because that. Yeah, no, I like that. We'll definitely look into that. See kind of what additions we can have. I'm also interested to kind of see if we're able to grow this league to 12.
Yeah, I think it would be that. I think that would be really awesome to see if we had a 12-team league, because 10-team leagues. Our 10-team PPR leagues can be a little interesting.
Yeah, it's just right there. It's almost like a 58-mile-an-hour speed limit. It's like
exactly.
I mean, we're going faster than 55, but we're not quite there. It's like, what's going on?
And no auto drafting. Yeah. Jesus Christ, kick that out. Let's stop with that auto drafting nonsense.
Hey, auto draft worked for somebody to get to the championship. I'm just saying.
He did unload like a lot of his roster as soon as he actually got on. So.
That's true.
There was a lot of waiver work for sure.
Yeah.
But I would have loved to have auto draft McCaffrey instead of Diggs. Just saying.
But Tvshka,
Yeah.
here's the thing. The problem with Diggs is Allen was like is Allen, because the fact is like,
dude, how are you like the number one quarterback, and then your receiver? I mean, surprisingly, was still like a number 8, number 9 in the top 10, but you didn't fucking feed him.
Buffalo needs to run the ball more. Buffalo needs to run the ball more. And stop
their new OC
Allen.
is definitely doing that. That's why James Cook was in the top 10.
Exactly, because the fact is
not well deserved for the whole season, but for the last 6 games,
their new because the fact is like, if their new OC needs to keep his job, because the fact is like they are in the spot they are in because that new OC is actually pretty damn good. And it's because if you would have this 50-50 thing of like running the ball and Josh Allen, look at you, you've got like there. Well,
hey brother, save some of it, because I know we've got so much we can talk about. And we definitely love chatting with you. But ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Jason L, aka Tar Heels for Life, man, officially number 3 on the league. We look forward to you being back next year, and we know that you're going to draft well. And I mean, you really have raised the standard and helped set the standard for the league. So we definitely appreciate you in that, brother. Yeah,
thanks.
Keep rocking on.
Thanks.
All right. Yeah. Appreciate you, brother. Get the fuck out of here. Get out of here. Take him out.
Oh, it's always a pleasure talking to my nemesis.
Yeah, you're right. Nemesis. Yeah. But hey, here, you know what? I mean, I know we paid this guy this year to be our lawyer and retainer, but he may be a new nemesis.
Yeah.
Right? Not for me. Not for me, but maybe for somebody else. Apparently he's calling himself the Unsufferable Law. Hagen, how we doing, brother?
Well. Am I coming through loud and clear? Can everybody?
Yeah. Yep.
Does the court register my voice?
Yes.
Yes, we do. Also, I'll do community service in lieu of having to pay tickets. Okay, is that the way it works? Can I do that?
All right, it works for me.
Okay. All right, good, man. Good. What are you sipping on, brother? What you got in that cup?
Oh, this is just water. No, see, I'm writing a brief tonight.
You just want to be classy. I like it. I like the jacket. I like the 2021. What does the rest of the shirt say? What's 2021?
Oh, this is from an old law firm I worked at.
Giving back 5K. Hell yeah, dude.
So you gave back and didn't do the 5K.
I did not participate in said 5K.
Yes. Been there, didn't do that, but got the T-shirt.
I got the T-shirt though. I wear it on the treadmill.
There you go. You did the 5K treadmill. Good, man.
There you go.
Yeah, no, I just because in the military they call them fun runs, and I always said just because it rhymes doesn't make it true. Because there's nothing fun about running 3.3 whatever miles. Smoking 5K and weed.
That was last night.
Right, but hey, man, hey, welcome. Thank you for coming back to the show.
Pleasure.
Let's just jump into this real quick, man. So you had an interesting walk into the championship. So
I don't know how the hell I got here.
Yeah, right. We'll show you because you played Black Lives Matter.
You got to look at the score. Look at that score though in the first round of the playoffs. What was the score?
So folks at home won't be able to see it. But on the first round, what he's alluding to is 126.5 to 131.06.
That's less than 5 points, right?
Yeah.
4.5 points.
I mean, what could have been?
Your luring is good as well as your math. But I mean, that's about as tight of a win as you can in fantasy. A little, maybe not as close as you had a lot can do math. Not meth, but math.
Light math.
Yeah, but almost as close as me and Jason's week 1. About. I think that one was 6 points, but it was literally one.
You still holding on to that one?
Still, man, because that's how it started. I started off tilted. Okay, I started off tilted, but no, yeah. So you jump over, Lights, Camera, Jackson, and well-deserved win there. And then you go on to play Jason L, who we just had on screen. With this match going into it, I mean, were you kind of dreading it? Okay.
He just beat me up like 2 weeks ago. Like 2 weeks before this we played.
Yeah.
It wasn't pretty.
Just to talk shit, get in your head, or what? What do you say? Do you have the receipts? Can you show us?
I know. I didn't. I mean, we opened up a dialogue throughout, throughout the playoffs.
Was a stenographer involved?
Right.
The stenographer that is Sleeper. Yes.
Okay.
Sleeper is always watching, listening.
Sleeper's always awake.
While you're sleeping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do wonder why they called it a sleeper app, by the way. We should get to the bottom of that.
Yeah, maybe it's a fantasy thing about like, it's a
Sleeper picks.
It's an underdog, like it's sleeper pick. It's an underdog.
Yeah, underdog fantasy was taken, so they had to go with sleeper.
Sleeper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, the second round I think was probably the most maddening of the playoffs. Was because I had to wait till that 49ers game where they got the absolute snot beat out of them by the Ravens, and I had to wait until the fourth quarter for Brandon Ayuk to do something.
Mm-hmm.
And it was Brandon Ayuk needs to score like 15 points or, I lose. And that was not a fun game. If you're rooting for the 49ers, that was not a fun game to have your livelihood depend on.
It's all right. You came through for you though, right at the end. Good old Sam Darnold.
Yeah. And now I just
Sam Darnold. Good.
I just need a little bit of therapy for some of the things that transpired that night.
So I just think it's a testament of if you run the league, you don't win. But if you don't run the league, you win, as the past 2 years have shown.
That's actually a good point because I don't think
so good.
Yeah, when I was on nickels and pennies trying to run this league, back when it was just a fledgling group of ragtag individuals, before leadership and someone with vision took over.
Soul.
This year. Yeah, I never because I couldn't even get Roca to join.
Yeah, well, different time, different place. Also, maybe a little bit of a monetary inspiration was involved.
Yeah. Could you imagine that we end up having to fucking pay Roca again?
Right.
This is bullshit.
Yeah. We'll see. Roca, if you're watching, but come on, hop in the show. But yeah, we're not gonna pay you for this one. But we do appreciate him coming in, and kind of like you're talking about though. I mean, talking about Roca, aka. Let me get back up here for it. Super Bowl Sammy, right? So you, for most of the year, did not know because it was intentional on our part. We wanted to have a slow reveal. Even after we revealed it, you didn't know. But yeah, so Super Bowl Sammy played a GIF, aka Blackpool Combat Club, moved in, played a lot of guard, and then you met you in the championship round. So kind of going into that match, what was kind of your expectations? I mean, you've seen 200-point games from Super Bowl Sammy. On average, 180, 170-point games. I mean,
I was ready to get embarrassed.
Yeah.
I mean, I was
ready to get
looking at that roster for like the last 5 weeks thinking, how did we let this happen? How did and then I learned it was auto draft, and I was like, okay, so humans really are weaker and not AI is superior when it comes to gambling. Because I mean that roster just whooped up and down over the course of the season.
Yeah, and it helped that
his bench scored
Kyren
more
Williams.
points than my whole team.
Yeah, Kyren Williams is ridiculous.
Dude, such a great pickup. Yeah. I had him flagged for 1 week, and that's one thing I've really got to look at myself next year is that go with the gut and just get the person, because I would flag him or kind of put interest, and I'm like, I'm just going to wait a week and kind of see what they do. But I wait that week and somebody else grabs him, and it's like, Puka Nacua, Kyren Williams, other people.
But at that point, you're like, who do you cut? You're going to cut someone like Adam Thielen, which is what I was faced with many times. I thought, okay, do I cut Adam Thielen for this person? I always ended up keeping Adam Thielen. In some decisions, that was the right thing to do. Other times.
I mean, so kind of to that a little bit. I mean, the question was kind of proposed. What about an extra roster spot? Do you think that would be within?
No. I want the madness. I want the madness.
You're an agent of chaos.
Yes. I think we're right where we need to be in terms of how the waivers went this season. It was fun. It kept you engaged throughout the season.
Kept you working.
I like where we're at. I gotta disagree with that. Sorry.
And so it is kind of ironic or funny that the person that does have a law degree wants the most chaos.
Right.
Well, that's where we get paid.
He wants to score in any
When
part
nobody
he can get.
Yeah.
I wouldn't get paid if everybody like knew the outcome. If results were 100% predictable. Like nobody needs a lawyer if you know exactly how something's going to play out. No.
Yeah, it's like that shower thought. It's like lawyers want you to get in trouble.
Right. I mean, yeah, just like cops want you to get pulled over.
Right. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, Josh, any questions for Mr. Haygood?
Yeah. So is it a legal thing for you to put team in front of your name? We know you're a team.
Team.
You just team or
here's the thing.
Team.
Because you and Super Bowl Sammy, Team Saquon Barkinsdale, Team Super Bowl Sammy. Yeah. What's up with that, guys?
Well, there is some regality to it,
But it's already a team. Is it not innate in itself a team? So therefore, do you have to clarify or dictate that it is in the title?
You know what? It does merit a distinction, I think.
Yes.
I think it merits a distinction because when you're playing someone who plays with a team, it's really about that team. I named my team after Saquon. Shouldn't have done that. He was not worthy of having my team.
I think all of New York is blaming you for those issues there.
I mean, look at. So we were talking about CeeDee Lamb and Kyren Williams. So Roca had CeeDee Lamb and Kyren Williams.
Yeah.
And McCaffrey.
Yeah. 2 of the top 10 scoring players on the week he had. Plus he had Christian McCaffrey. And I mean, I'm with you. Going into that, we were like, do we give him the trophy now? Because it looked abysmal.
Tyreek Hill for me and Christian McCaffrey, they leveled each other out. They took each other off the equation. They canceled each other out. That's the term I'm looking for. Words. They canceled each other out. My Tyreek Hill, his Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah.
Okay, remove them from the equation completely.
Yeah. The guys that have gotten 40 burgers, typically
it was about
on
James
average
Conner.
25 points, getting 13 each. Yep.
It was about. Look, I mean, I had how many? I think I had 5 players who scored over 20 points, but my highest scoring player was James Conner at 26. It was truly a team effort.
Did you expect James Conner to be your saving grace as the Cardinals faced off against the Eagles?
I mean, I was paying attention to what the Eagles were doing. I've been following what's been going on with the Eagles for the last month and a half, and December football is just different. December football is things happen, strange things happen, and you gotta be looking out. That's why I started Kyler Murray against the Eagles. I mean, if I had started Tua, I might have won by like 2 points, I guess. But I decided to go out and get Kyler because I did not like that matchup.
Yeah, Kyler Murray getting you 25 completions, 232 yards, 3 tutties, 1 2-point conversion, but also 1 interception. Which I mean, it's hard to have a quarterback that doesn't have turnovers this season for some reason.
No, that was a heck of a start with Kyler there. I mean, the Eagles are drowning themselves right now, which fortunately for me as a Dallas fan, I'm like, yeah, that's right, we can take the division against the Commanders. But I can't. It's hard for me to watch Kyler Murray now because every time he takes off running, the star theme from Mario just plays in my head as he's running, just like you'll never be able to not watch him and have that song play in your head as he's running.
Oh gosh.
Well,
I don't know how much more running he's going to do because I think they get yeeted out of the playoffs.
Well, speaking of songs and also thinking of playoffs, because I've been trying to save this, but ladies and gentlemen, I mean, we talked about the bracket, but we are currently talking to your 2023, the first annual Ruckus Entertainment and Variety Fantasy Fuck Around Fantasy Football champion, Mr. Daniel Haygood. What's up, bud?
Hey. I'm riding this wave. I'm riding this wave, everybody. You want to ride with me? Okay, we're riding something over there.
Dude, yeah, congratulations, man. I mean, I know that's like probably the weakest reveal ever, but you're the champion, dude. How does it fucking feel to be the champion of a league that you championed as far as getting it started, man? It's
that's the thing. I don't know that I got this started.
You did. You were the one that started it in the chats.
Well, I think I kept it alive because I remember joining a league that was composed of a lot of different people.
No, you are the one. I mean, behind the.
No, you're right. I'm going to take the credit here.
Outlaw Nation.
Just take
one.
the credit, sir.
Yeah, no, you were the one that messaged everybody, and I think in a Zoom hangout, you would have said, "Hey, anybody interested?" Yes, cool. Mm-hmm. And then everybody from that Discord group, you invited.
Yeah, that's true.
And you started it, and we ran 2 years, and then we moved Discords. This is the first year for the Ruckus Entertainment Variety one, but. Yeah, man, you're the one that started it all. So how does it feel to finally win it?
It's a full circle moment because I've never won a fantasy championship before, which is kind of part of the reason, I wanted to keep starting more of them because I have more opportunities to finally win one. And this is what, the fourth year? This is like our third or fourth year.
Our third year, brother.
Third year.
Yeah.
So finally.
Good. Well, hey, cheers to that, man. Cheers.
Yeah.
Clank.
Shout out to everyone on this that's been on this chat that's won a championship.
I think I may take an edible in your honor. Who knows? But but no, man. Yeah, seriously, congratulations. I mean, watching this over the weekend. I think it started Thursday. Is that right?
Thursday night.
Yeah, absolutely incredible. I mean, it went back and forth.
The night that CD haunted my dreams.
Oh,
put that up on. No, that was Saturday. I apologize.
Yeah, no, but it was Saturday. I know, but I was with you. I looked at him like, dude, this done. It's fucking done, man. Because you got McCaffrey that's going to be playing on Sunday against Washington. Like, it's done. I mean, and honestly, like even looking at it beforehand, we kind of thought that Team Super Bowl Sammy was going to win this one.
Oh, yeah, but I did.
It's why we play the game.
Yeah. Because all it takes is Jahmyr Gibbs to not show up against Dallas, and Christian McCaffrey to be like, "Oh, my leg." I'm pretty sure that's exactly how he sounded. All country is hell. Oh, my leg.
Oh, my leg. Yeah, but also Rashid Rice. I mean, this is what we talked about, pre-show. Rashid Rice getting 127 yards. Absolutely awesome to watch it as a Chiefs fan. No touchdowns.
And thank God for that, right?
Yeah, DK Metcalf, 106 yards, 5 receptions, no touchdowns. It was just like, dude, that's all he needed was like a touchdown from each of those guys, a little bit more from somebody. And it just couldn't be done, man. And so, dude, like, absolutely, like, hats off, like, credit to your ass, bro. Like, that was so cool to watch. So cool to chronicleize. I mean, because it's really kind of, the first year that we've done the show for this Ruckus Entertainment Variety as far as this league. And it was so much fun to really see the progression of the league, of your team, the trades going on, the JTT, John, I say JTT. I know it's only JT, but JTT and ETN. That was great, man. I mean, you fucking did it, man. So what do you credit the most? This is a poll put up in another group. Was it the draft? Was it the waiver? Or was it trades?
No, I think, God, it's hard to answer that. Because they were all, you had to utilize all three, really, to get this team.
Yeah.
But I think being able to draft Tyreek Hill and no, because Saquon I drafted second. He sucked. But then I had Amon-Ra. I think I had to go with my draft. I had Amon-Ra, St. Brown, and Tyreek Hill. And then James Conner I drafted. And I had a lot of temptation to give James Conner up at some points. When he was injured for that stretch, Like it was. I was definitely considering getting rid of him, and thank God I didn't.
Yeah, and to give it context for those watching, and by the way, if you are watching, like, subscribe. We're not great. We're terrible. But you know what? Help us out. Maybe your like will provide better content for us. We don't know. But just go ahead and try it and see what happens. But we were a 10-person league. You drafted 8 out of 10. And so your draft was Tyreek Hill, Saquon Barkley, who unfortunately got snapped, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jonathan Taylor, Herbert, and you're a Charger fan, so that's
I had to do it.
You had to
I
draft.
was obligated.
Yeah, right after Burrows and before Fields. But then you also had Sanders, Ayuk, Mike Williams, Connor, Tua Tagovailoa that you stole from somebody in the back scenes who's pissed off at you, by the way. So if you like randomly get removed from the screen, that's probably why.
Tua is a big reason of my success. Like if I didn't have Tua
early on in the
Justin
season,
Herbert didn't do shit.
Hands down.
Yeah, Tua got me to the playoffs for sure.
Yeah, but I mean, out of those drafted, you still have them, right? I mean, did you ever drop Mike Williams?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So, yeah, of course.
What am I going to do? I'm gonna
Without
keep him 'cause I like
hesitation.
him.
I'm a Charger fan. Did you drop by Mike Williams? Fuck yes.
It was like week 4. It was like week 4 that he went down.
Yeah, but you traded Taylor. You dropped Williams. You kept quite a bit of them. Connor was right after Williams, though, and before Tua. So that's kind of your draft order. Your opponent, who was on auto draft, your opponent who was on auto draft was number 3 position.
Yeah.
McCaffrey, number 1, Lamb, number 2, Hurts, number 3, Gibbs, number 4, Metcalf, number 5, then Judy, McLaren, Watson, Ingram, Johnson, who are not on the team. But that's the draft. So, like you said, I mean, it started with the draft, but you worked your way through the waivers and the trades and made it happen, man. So, yeah, what you got, though? Josh or Haygood. Sorry. Yeah, no.
No, I'm just saying, you're welcome for taking Keenan Allen off your hands, so you didn't have to worry about that. Because you did, or you're like, you son of a bitch. When
he took a dump on you.
That draft chat was pretty hot.
He took a big dump on you at the end of the season, didn't he?
Oh gosh, it was once Herbert went out. I was like, well, that's it. We had a fun run.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
But yeah, no.
Any questions, Josh? Yeah.
No, I mean, just had it. Now that you've won, you realize you don't have to draft all Chargers. You realize you could have multiple guys, and it'll actually help you out.
More than that.
That was going to be my question here in a second.
You should not.
Good.
More than you just don't have to. You shouldn't.
Keenan Allen was pretty good for 3/4 of the season.
Right, but hold on, though. Now that Haley's out, your GM's out, bud. You as a Charger fan, are you drafting any Chargers players next year? Eckler injured for most of it, came back, didn't look great. Herbert injured. Who knows what he's going to look like? Williams, is he done? Is he retired? They put him in the grave. Who knows? Keenan Allen, 3/4 of the year. You know what I mean? Like, you as a Charger fan specifically.
Well, that sounds
what is next year? What would you say? Sorry.
when you tee it up like that.
I'm sorry. Hey, trust me. Like, from a storied franchise as the Chiefs, we've had bad years. We had Brody Croyle as our starting quarterback. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, we've had bad years, brother. And you remember those because you guys had LaDainian Tomlinson running all over our fucking house.
Oh, yeah.
Rivers.
Yeah, I wish I could draft him again.
All right. Dude, LTD, the best.
There's no one who I'm going to be drafting in the first 3 rounds, probably, for the Chargers. I mean, I don't see my man Eck returning to his, former prowess. Just like I look at someone like Christian McCaffrey, I'm like, Austin Eckler can and did do that, but the utilization and the injuries, it's just.
And just 2 years ago, Eckler was the guy.
Yeah.
Like Jonathan Taylor, Austin Eckler. I mean, those were the guys. That's why we still have from 2021, 22 on the intro screen, those guys in the intro. Like, they were the dudes. Now we've got to update this motherfucker to be a bunch of rookies.
Right. Yeah, Kyron Williams and Puka Nacua.
Yeah. Like, they're going to have to be in there. Like, all the top 10 is just helping us with that. But,
Depending on how
man.
the offseason goes, I wouldn't be surprised if some people draft Jahmyr Gibbs like 1, 2, or 3 next
So
year.
yeah, no, I'm looking at it. I'm looking at Jahmyr Gibbs being up. Who was I just think? Kyron Williams, though. I think I would take Kyron over Jahmyr. Honestly, I think a lot of people. I think you'll be seeing in your underdog drafts that Kyron Williams is going to be like a top 5 pick probably. My personal opinion. I think Kyron Williams is going to be huge. Going to be huge. He's going to be where people were drafting Bijan this year.
Yeah.
I say that, and there's a proud Bijan owner amongst us.
Semi-proud.
You're just not proud of Art Smith.
Or Art Sith. Yeah.
If you are a superstar and are on the Falcons, you are the bane of Arthur Smith's existence.
Yeah.
Art.
Hey, Michael Pitts, come on, come to the Kansas City Chiefs. We got you.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my
To
God.
Kyle Pitts, at one point they were saying that they were like, he might be traded to the Chiefs. I'm like, please, love of God, no, not the time. But it's not like they needed it. And then, they need a receiver anyway, so they definitely need Kyle Pitts right now.
Yeah, they should be making moves. Honestly.
Well, I mean, Kelsey's aging, and that literally has been part of the talks. Was Kyle Pitts? Higgins has been another big one they've been talking about.
Do you know? Tvshka, you got any inside information on some of the off-season moves? Then,
not necessarily.
Kyle Pitts might be
I
one.
mean, I'm kind of with Jason in that it's going to be more of a trade than a draft.
Yeah.
So I think
so
and it's going to be hard for us to probably trade with the Bengals, kind of being our new nemesis and kind of rival. But at the same time, we played them this year and we played the division. So I don't know if we're going to be playing them next year. Because with the schedule, they do divisional, kind of matches.
What if you get T. Higgins?
Yeah. I mean, Higgins would be good. I don't think Higgins is like a top tier number 1 receiver. But at the same time, we don't need that. We just need somebody that is a locker room leader. And MVS is not that at all.
Well, so why'd you win the Super Bowl last year? Then you won it without Tyreek Hill.
Yep.
Why was it not as much of a problem last year as it might be?
Because we had a rookie defense that everybody overlooked. And we had a lot of turnovers. We had a lot of defensive touchdowns. But we also, I think it was the line. I think the line's the big deal. We went with Taylor this year, who is the most penalized individual in the entire league. Like, that's the thing, man. Like, people will try to say that the Chiefs get favoritism, right? That's not true, guys. That's not true. The refs just fucking suck, period.
I applaud that argument.
Okay. Right, and I say this.
I like the refs. They were fun to me this week.
Yeah, they were good to you this week, motherfucker. And hey,
refs get a bad rap.
Oh my God, he left. I'm gonna message Jason because we got to get him back on here. I apologize. I told him we were gonna bring him back on, but but kind of to finish my point. Yes, there are moments where you look at it and you could say this turned the game. This did. It's been very true. If you watch a football game, the entirety of it, not the highlights, motherfuckers, right? Not what ESPN or the corporate conglomerates show you. If you watch the whole games, you will see like there's a lot of tilting and the refs will get one thing wrong and they have a makeup call.
Oh, yeah.
And the makeup call is usually the one that gets the highlight and it gets all the speculation and gets all the attention. Recently we had that, but anyways, that's on the year, right? So, but no, it's just this guy. He didn't get any of these penalties whenever he played for Jacksonville, and it's a Juwan Taylor. Whenever he came over to here with the Chiefs, the highlight, the Super Bowl franchise, the documentaries, NFL quarterback, everything spotlight on us. He gets flagged for every fucking thing he does, and he's doing the same shit he did last year. They're just making an intentional effort to call it this year. And I'm not saying that it's the ref's fault. I'm just saying that guy fucking sucks. He got away with it last year and he felt like, oh, cool. It's like, it's rewarded behavior. You know what I mean? It's rewarded bad behavior.
Which is why I don't understand why Dan Campbell thought he would run this super complicated play and it would just be fine. Like, you're in the heat of the moment, game-winning potential 2-point conversion. Like, people are not thinking about, the ref is not thinking about what you walked through at the beginning of the game with him. He's not thinking about that. That's the furthest thing from his mind, this potential call that good old Coach Campbell wanted to walk through because it's so complicated and full of trickery. I'm kind of with Josh here. I don't think that the refs got it all the way. We shouldn't be coming down on them. Sure, they got it wrong technically, but the reasoning that they got it wrong is because they were trying to purposely trick them.
Well, they were trying to trick the Cowboys. They end up tricking the refs.
What do you think was going to happen?
But at the same time,
yeah,
this is where I think the officials on the field need to fuck off. There are 50-plus cameras in every stadium at every game. There are pylon cameras with 3 cameras that are near 360 view at not just the end zone, at the first down or not the first down, but the line marker and the first down marker. We don't need that many people on the field. If there's any questionable call, don't call it. Because that is what really influences it, is they make a call on the field, then they have to overturn it that much more. If they didn't make the call, right, lawyer? If you didn't make an assessment or a prejudgment as a police officer, and you said, hey, this is kind of suspect, we're going to bring it into the court for questioning, you're going to figure it out there and then let the evidence kind of decide where that middle line is and then make the judgment. But whenever you make it on this one side, as far as this is the field, this is the call, this is the measurement, and you've got to jump all the way over it just to overturn, that's where it's fucking up. And I get it. It's NFL, it's TV, it's commercials, it's money. But when those moments happen, that is your commercial break. Don't go to arbitrary commercial break after a kickoff return or after this, But anyways, that's my soapbox.
Yeah.
But you as a lawyer, man, how you feeling? And then after that, Josh, what you got, bud?
Yeah. Well, I just think that we got to keep up with the times here as far as our evidentiary standards go. And with something that's on the line like that, how long were they conferring and talking before they threw the flag too? Because they had put the points on the board. They were celebrating, getting ready to kick the ball off and hold on to their lead. And then
they're
like 30 seconds after,
confetti.
Yeah, and like 30 seconds after, no, wait, flag. In that moment while they're having the conversation, like if it takes more than like a snap, this happened. Like if the ref like saw it and can't definitively say, in a situation like that at the end of the game, totally, they should just have the option to go, well, what do the cameras say? What do the replay say? And they can look at who reported, and maybe that'll jog the ref's memory. I'm emphasizing this because when I introduce a witness, an exhibit to refresh their memory, I don't have to worry about certain foundational elements. So when I just say, use this to jog your memory, like it's coming in, or it's going to happen. You can't stop this from happening. And they should be that way, with the replay. Let them, if the ref is like spending 30, 45 seconds thinking, maybe he reported, look at the camera.
Yeah.
Remember, see if it
you could
jogs your memory.
The quarterback said, hey, go over there to the ref. They go to the ref. They have 2 players there. 70 runs in, and it's still 10 yards away. But that's part of the ploy, is because he's been doing that the whole game. So it's like, all right, we're trying to trick the defense right now, but we're letting the referee know this. Referee got confused. They said number 70 is an eligible receiver. But yeah. And mistakes happen. We're fucking human. We're not going to get it perfect. It's messy. That's what makes the game great. But Josh, man, what are your thoughts on this as a Cowboys fan? And then if you can, as much as you can, be objective towards the situation.
I think the refs are perfect. They got everything completely right. I don't know why this is a discussion.
You son of a bitch.
Wait till next week.
I mean, it wasn't like as soon as I saw them score the touchdown, I turned the game off, and then they said that the Cowboys won 20-19. I was like, what? So that didn't happen at all. So no, I think with that, and that was a true story.
we know.
He was so confused.
So, but yeah, so when that stuff happens, yeah, you say report all that stuff. At the end of the day, just kick the field goal at that point. Like it sucks. I understand it, but just kick the field goal. Just get the point. Go to overtime, because who's to say Dak wasn't going to throw to CeeDee Lamb twice and because Aubrey's going to be good from the parking lot. So who's to say that Dallas still wasn't going to pull it out anyway at the end of the day? But just kick the field goal.
Yeah. They should have kicked it. They should have kicked it instead of when it was on the 7-yard line. And then they got it bumped back up to the 3.5. But when they're on the 3.5, I mean,
yeah, they ran it. They ran the 2-point conversion a second time, and then it was defensive offsides.
And they thought
they ran it a third time.
Yeah,
but So on the second one, you said they thought what?
They thought it was a gift. Oh my God, he jumped off sides. We're getting, and that set him up for failure, because Dan Campbell probably saw that offsides call as like, okay, this is divine intervention. I'm getting my play back.
Yeah.
He should never
the football
gods that scenario and kicked it from the 7-yard line.
Yeah. Yeah. And at that point, kick the field goal, go to overtime. Because, ladies and gentlemen, the 2-point wasn't for a tie, it was for the win. The field goal was for the tie. Tie it, go to overtime. Give your offense and your defense a chance to reset and do it. But at the same time, I mean, it's tough. It's tough. I mean, I am on the side that it was a bad call. And it was
technically it was the wrong call. It was the wrong call. I just don't think we should be coming down on these refs.
Yeah,
as particularly hard.
Exactly. Dan Campbell. Kick a field goal.
I don't want to go.
Maybe he'll kick a field goal in the playoffs, and that'll be the difference. And the football gods are saying, "Hey, remember this whenever you go to the playoffs, and you're playing the 49ers." We were
cheering when the referees made a deal and got rid of the replacement refs, and everyone was cheering, "Hey, welcome back!" And then we proceeded to just tell them that they suck again. That's all.
By the Cleveland Browns throwing bottles at them.
Yeah. That was when because of the Cleveland Browns, that's why they outlawed metal, actual glass bottles be served.
You had to have plastic containers everywhere.
Yeah.
Yep.
There he is.
Hey, what's up, buddy?
Whiskey wanted to say goodnight.
Oh, whiskey! I drank so much of you tonight. Cheers to yourself.
Very honey. Thank you. Yes.
Yeah. Well, I messaged Jason. I'm sorry, Jace. Thank you, by the way, Jason, for jumping on the show. Wish you could have stuck around. Maybe some family stuff came up. But yeah, Josh, I mean, any final questions for the champion of the 2023 season?
I mean, how good does it feel? Right.
Oh, it feels great. It does feel pretty great.
Did you put out any hits on Christian McCaffrey? Just be honest. It's okay. This is a safe space here. It's not like it's on the internet for all to see.
I reached out to their legal staff, and I said, "Look, here's all the dirt I got on this man.
You blackmailed him.
You play him. You don't pull him in the second quarter. Like, a lot of shit's gonna come to light." These documents that are coming out about Jeffrey Epstein. Well, it just so happens I know a few individuals.
We have a photo of this person at this location.
Hey man, his dad was in some shit when he was with the Broncos. All right. Ed McCaffrey was not.
I remember Ed McCaffrey as a Chiefs fan. So probably you as a Charger fan, you probably remember Ed McCaffrey there in the 90s as well.
I mean, do you all remember when the Detroit Lions won the division in 1993?
Back in my day.
Yeah. I was there. There were things called a dial-up phone.
Dial-up phone.
Yeah, we had wheels
rotary
and shit.
Rotary phone.
Dial-up internet wasn't even invented in 1993.
Right, but dial-up. I mean, dial-up is synonymous with that.
Yeah.
But anyways, to dial up this conversation and also the show too. We're gonna wrap up here soon. Mr. Haygood, our concierge or consultant for the year, but also our 2023 champion, man. What are some final words you have? And then also, man, like, what do you expect for next year? And maybe in an email, if you can kind of get your stenographer and put up something as far as like what you want to change.
Well, I don't know. I never thought about what I wanted to change because I won. Look,
You're good. You're good. We can put that in an email later.
Okay. Well, my final words would be never give up because I was 7-7, and I was facing someone who was putting up 200 points on the weekly in the finals.
Yeah.
So, stranger things have happened, folks.
You keep your nose on the grindstone, out of the pills, as Tyler Childers once said.
Work that wire.
Yeah. Yeah. Work the wire. I mean, work the trade, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's what I want to see more next year. I want to see more trades.
More trades,
baby.
And I will make sure I get it down to a T when trades happen. So
yeah, the first couple were a little bit weird.
A little shaky.
A little bit weird. But no, Mr. Haygood, sir. Lawyer, Esquire, Your Honor.
It's actually Judge Lawyer now.
Judge Lawyer. Yeah, sorry, Judge Lawyer, Esquire, Your Honor. Man, thank you so much, man. I mean, like, we thank you for getting us together, first and foremost. It's been an absolute blessing, and it's been so much fucking fun over the last few years. So glad to see you get your flowers and your championship ring, brother, that we will be purchasing here this next week. Once you get to the jewelers and you figure out what your ring size is, but we will send that to you. And we definitely expect pictures and video and everything of that nature so we can kind of show that. But yeah, that'll be your ring to keep. That will not be something that continues. Each year will be a different trophy and or ring. Okay. I think for the first few, we'll probably do rings so everybody can kind of try to get one.
Yeah.
And but yeah, man, we thank you so much, man. We I mean, you coming back next year?
Yeah, of course.
Good. We got three. We got three, Josh. We just got to get a little bit more.
There you go. Well, I will say this. I will be a little disappointed if you don't recreate the end of The Godfather with your ring on. So,
all right.
I'm just saying.
This is not the moment to reveal this, but I've never seen The Godfather all the way.
Well, now's the time.
My God.
We've
got to watch along.
Yeah. It's a good one.
Yeah. Okay. Now we may have to do that, but yeah. But thank you again so much, brother. Congratulations on a well-deserved win. Yes.
We got another.
Oh, I declare for next year. There we go. We got 4.
We got 4.
He's gonna beat all of us.
Dude, hey, you know what, Gift? He's on he's on the precipice of it. He's on the edge.
Don't do any research. Do no research. Come in, look at the pictures of the players. You like that picture? You take the player.
I mean, that's what Soul says. She asks a lot of times on how the draft works. She goes, "Any of our players hot?" And it's literally like our thing. So yeah, hottest player drafted.
Playing the draft. Hey, that's the tactic for next year. But for this year, it's Mr. Haygood, sir. Thank you so much. You have a good one.
Congratulations. Bye, Whiskey.
Oh man, yeah, whiskey. Oh my God, whiskey for sure, brother. But dude, that was such a well-earned championship run. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like some of the other ones, it was just like, we kind of knew halfway through the season who was going to be.
Yeah.
Right. If we'd called a mid-season one, which maybe we'll do that next year, mid-season pick.
Right.
It probably would have been Jason.
Yeah.
AKA Tar Heels for Life, and Roca, AKA Super Bowl Sammy.
Yeah.
Like those probably would have been the ones.
Christian McCaffrey, with those two players, like he's got a foundation, and then Jahmyr Gibbs started popping off, and CeeDee Lamb started popping off there the last half of the season. So I was like,
yeah,
Jason would have been my mid-season pick, but looking at Roca's roster, I was like, this team could catch fire because they have two guys that come out and set the bar, and all you need is just a little bit of help from everyone else. And Jahmyr Gibbs had a stinker, and Christian McCaffrey got hurt, and that's pretty much all it took for Haygood to get a little bit over the hump.
Yeah, even going into the playoffs, Tar Heel for Life, 12-2, only 2 losses.
Yeah,
right? I mean, and one of them is probably, I mean, we'll talk more about it next week. The game of the year, other than the championship game.
Right.
Right. I mean, I don't know. And that was mid-season. We couldn't have scripted this better, bud. It was absolutely fun to enjoy and watch this. And to be alongside you for the ride, man.
It's always a pleasure.
Yeah, man. Like, what was one of your favorite things from the playoffs, other than me and you not being in it?
Me beating us beating you, maybe. I guess.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I don't remember that one. Fuck off.
But no, just to see
week.
kind of the smack talk that was happening in our league chat that was going on, and just you thought, like you were saying, like as soon as CD went off, you're like, oh, it's done. Oh nope, here we go. And then once you heard that Christian McCaffrey got hurt, you're like, I don't know. It could be a chance. And
there's a 2-more game. Maybe not.
No, and I always enjoy it when stuff hasn't been decided yet, so all teams are still playing their starters in this situation. So it's always nice when you have a lot of things still to play for, because I think sometimes teams would take off like the last 3 weeks of the season because it was already set.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and that's going to make it interesting because, again, like we talked about a little bit before, it almost seems like that's a little bit of the trend. If they may be kind of reserving some for that late run, maybe kind of protecting a little bit of the playbook, maybe kind of protecting a little bit of the player health, maybe a little bit of diversion, a little bit of subversion, whatever that may be. But then, like absolutely blowing up. And maybe it just may take rookies developing over the year to get to the point where they need to be.
Yeah.
Or new players. But yeah, this year, I mean, the excitement, the drama was definitely did not leave me wanting any more. Actually wanted me wanting less.
Yeah.
A lot fucking less, guys. Please. So much less next year.
I should have kept Puka instead of Cup. That's all I have to say. And I should have started Rachaad White a long time ago.
Yep, you should have. And I know Roca is wishing that he would have traded Lamar Jackson to himself.
Yeah.
I can't remember what the other trade was for right now, but yeah, crazy year. Let us know how your season went. I know we had people kind of throughout the season watching with us, asking us questions in the chat. Let us know, how did your season go? What was the big change? What was the dictating? GIF, man. Thank you so much, brother. I mean, best of luck to you next year for sure. Against Josh and Josh only.
And Soul.
No, I said you only.
Uh-huh.
I hope he does. I hope him and Soul tie, but I hope he beats your ass.
Okay, that makes sense.
But no, like, let us know in the chats. Like, what was the deciding factor? Was it a draft pick, Christian McCaffrey, that either brought you there and then left you at the bell of the ball? I feel like that's almost like he's the chariot. He's like the pumpkin that
he
took
turned
Cinderella
back into a pumpkin this
to
week.
the ball.
Yeah,
and then like brought her to the ball and was like, "Yep, fuck off." Oh, by the way, there's a slipper on the step, bitch. Like.
But instead of a slipper, it was a calf injury.
It was a calf. Yeah, it was a calf, which affects the slipper. But yeah, no. I mean, like, let us know what it is, and then if you want to follow us at Ruckus EV everything. We're going to be putting a little bit more out. We're going to be kind of trying to get a little bit of a different status on TikTok, so we can go live on TikTok. We're also going to be trying to gain our numbers on Instagram, so we can go to Instagram live because we just want to get out to the people. We want to be incorporative. We don't want to be exclusive. We want to bring you all into the fold, and so that way you guys are just having as much fun as we are on camera right now. If you want to join the Ruckus, go to patreon.com/RuckusEV. And we may have some more content coming your way. I know we should have we can send a link, maybe our end of the year wrap up. But we got some more stuff coming your way. Some new people to the channel, some new shows, some things, some new sisters, some new bros. Right, there we go. That's a good rhyme for the end of the year.
Yeah.
But also you can support us and help us pay for some of the lighting and everything of that nature, so we can get that over to Soul, to get it to Josh, to get it some Justin and the other members of the group. And that is at streamlabs.com/RuckusEV/tips. Josh, what do you got for him?
So thank you all so much for joining us on this journey. We're not done yet. We're just getting started. So if you enjoyed us before, lock in because it's getting ready to be real fun on that. But Tvshka, it's always a pleasure doing this show.
Oh yeah, brother.
As we fuck around, as one would say, in this fantasy world. And hats off to our winner, our retaining lawyer, if that makes sense, the unsufferable lawman, Daniel Haygood.
So insufferable.
And thank you all for thank you everyone that in the league that went through it and stuck with it the whole time.
That's right. Tar Heel for Life, Levy Garden, Super Bowl Sammy, Dak Lives Matter, Team Seg One Barkinsdale, Blackpool Combat Club, Soulful, Hilltoppers, Shriner, some homeless guy, fuck that dude, and the Reckless.
Yep. So thank you all so much. Yes, Bracket Bitches will be back after our year end. We will start doing more Bracket Bitches with the NFL and with the NCAA March Madness stuff coming around there. So stick tuned. Yep, that's a thing. So yeah, and we'll catch you the next time.
Yeah, Josh, thank you so much, brother. Glad you have a happy New Year. Everybody out there, have a happy New Year, and we will see you on the next one, motherfucker.